people, welcome to another episode of Hidden Hands. Appreciate you joining the show. Appreciate you tuning in. Today is super important to me in particular. This is one of my brothers in this industry. It's very rare. He's become more and more legendary. He's made an insane mark, on the game. He's a staple in the business. My brother Wayno. Appreciate you for joining us, man.
Man, thank you for having me, bro.
Come on, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
What's
thank
up?
you for having me. Yo, it's always like odd when somebody, what's going on, Trey? It's always odd, like, because I have so many great relationships. Every time like somebody talks about me, it makes it a little awkward for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because when somebody tells me how they genuinely feel, it's like, I really appreciate it, but like I just be like, wow, like, you know what I mean? Like it means a lot. For real, it means a lot.
Listen, bro,
that's modest of you.
No, I mean, just keeping it 100, man. Like, I wake up every day and can't believe my life. You know what I mean?
I've been around Wayno, from manager to, A&R to, personality to executive.
Yeah,
what I mean?
That's a fact.
He done made it look amazing and very inspiring. The whole journey, like, seeing my man on billboards and being in Times Square and you getting the big boy joints. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
like
his own
crazy. Shows and everything.
Come on, man. It's a lot of hard work.
Man, I mean, if you want, I know we don't want to harp too much on things that have been regurgitated. I kind of want to hear your perspective of, your come up and the way you kind of got started and
I mean, whatever y'all want to talk about, I'm with it.
No. I know
whatever
what
y'all
I'm
talk
saying,
about it.
but then we gonna get to it.
I jump right into it, man.
Whatever y'all want to talk
I jump
about,
right
we can talk
into
about
it.
it
So,
all, man.
we can
whatever.
We can start at, a lot of people know a lot about you, or they can find things about you and hear about hidden hands, keyword hidden. We like to talk about things that are not visible to the people within the journey, you know what I mean? And the things in between, and all of us being in the industry, we kind of can relate to these things that people don't see. So most people know you were with Roc-A-Fella. Everybody's rock fans, let's clap it up. Ooh. But it was something that stuck out to me in your journey there, where you said your mother got you the interview at 825 8th Avenue, World Plaza, that changed your life.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, like I used to work like summer youth. You know what I mean? In New York, I don't know what, I live in Atlanta now. Like in Atlanta, you could get a job at 13 years old. You know what I mean? Like 15, y'all got full-on jobs, working Wednesday night at the movie theaters and shit. But like, honestly, in New York, like, you can't get jobs when you're a teenager. I don't know how it is now, but like when I was a teenager, you had to get your working papers and you could only work in the summer. So you got to get your working papers in high school.
Wow.
Like you got to go to your guidance counselor and then tell them that you ready to work, willing and able to work, and then they sign off on a working paper and then you sign up for summer youth. So I had worked for this summer youth program for like a couple years. Like I think it was like first year I started was like 98 and then 99. And then like in 2000, I think I worked in 2000 as well. And then, by this time I had dropped out of high school. So when I dropped out of high school, my mom was just on some shit like, yo, you ain't going to be sitting around my house every day. You know what I mean? Like, and I understand it now. Like when I was a kid, I ain't get it because I just looked at myself as a kid. But she was like, yo, listen, like I'm not going to be going to work for 8 hours of a day, come home, got to cook for you and your sister, and you ain't did nothing all day because you dropped out of school. Like you need to, if you're not going to go back to school, your ass need to get a job. You know what I mean? So it was this lady named Liz, and Liz was pretty tough, you know what I'm saying? But she had gave me one of the jobs I had in the summer youth program, and how my mom worked at like kind of like brother sister companies through that, because my mom was a job developer. So basically what she did was she got people up out their bed every day for them to go get jobs. So, it's inevitable for me to get a job, you know what I mean? And at this time, me being a teenager, like I was trying my best to stay out the streets because I had got a few tastes of the streets or whatever, and I ain't like it, you know what I mean? And I was at the point where, I tell my son this all the time. It's like, because I got a son, man, that's tough, you know what I mean? But I tell him all the time, it's like when I was 17, I got friends coming home from jail right now.
Yeah.
From shit that they did when we was 17, 18, 19 years old. So, I knew what my path was, and my mom knew what my path was if I went and got me a job. So she helped me. She didn't like get me the interview. she taught me how to conduct myself on an interview. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like how to look somebody in the eye, make eye contact, give them the right type of handshake. You know, tell them that you willing to do the work and like you willing to learn. She taught me the word tenacity. I used to use it in every interview because like, you know what I mean?
It's
like,
a good word.
It's a great word.
Good word.
Especially
Target
when
word.
especially when
with
you're 17 years old. You know what I mean? So that's what. Yeah, when I got that opportunity, I mean, I didn't even know where I was going to. You know, at that time, I just knew I was getting a job, and then when I did the orientation, I didn't know until the day I walked into the building that it was like record label stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So something that stuck out what you just said was you said you didn't like the streets.
Yeah, I didn't.
That's rare that people admit that. But what can you elaborate on that?
I mean, the thing was, I was attracted to it like every other kid. You know what I mean? Like when I came outside, like my dad is a street guy, but he hid everything from me. To the best of his ability, my dad passed away a few years ago, but like we would joke when I got older, like, dog, you really didn't like you would tell me go to your safe and get some money and it's like white powder and shit, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm 15 years old, like I know what's going on. You know what I mean? So it's like he tried to hide it, and I understand why he tried to hide it from me as well. But I kind of resented my dad for trying to hide that aspect of his life to me, because at the point where I was a teenager and I had to open up the door by myself and walk outside, I didn't like, by the time I was a teenager, I didn't really have no training of the streets. Like I didn't really see too much. So it's like I just learned being outside, and I learned like being around my peers. So like, I naturally got into the streets because as a kid, I thought that you had to be like dumb for girls to like you. You know what I mean? Like it's like every girl I like somebody who's like belligerent and doing stupid shit. So I thought I had to do stupid shit to get the girls to like me. It was that, and then that was like, when I would have conversations with my peer group, like whether I'm in school or whatever, and they talking about like, yeah, I was just in Spawnford for a week, and Spawnford is like a kiddie jail in New York, and they like, yeah, I was in Spawnford for a week. I had a fight. They would talk about jail like it was this fun place.
Yeah.
So like naturally,
a lot of people do.
No, it's crazy. Like they try to shame you for not going to prison.
Yeah.
So it's like, naturally as a kid, you hear things and you looking at people and they don't know that you admire them. You know what I mean? And like when I moved to Harlem when I was like 12 or 13, I think like every kid that was my age was selling drugs. So it's like, I'm trying to find my way every day, and I just started getting into shit, and then like I wanted to do gangster shit until like I got put in situations where gangster shit is happening, and then you go home and got to deal with it. It's like that wasn't cool, that wasn't fun. You know what I mean? So my mom, she threatened to send me to South Carolina to live with my aunt, because I was a little out of control at one point in time. But yeah, I didn't really like it much, so I was just trying to find a way to stay away from that shit.
Do you think the resentment from your father, the resentment you have for your father about him not necessarily engulfing you in the street stuff, do you think
made me get into it? Absolutely.
But what I mean is, did it also make you get out of it?
No.
Could it also been something that made you not like it?
No.
Okay.
Like I'll say I really didn't. In hindsight is always 20/20.
Right.
Like I could look back and say I didn't like it, but at the time I did.
You liked
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I did. I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool to jump people. I thought it was cool to gang bang. I thought it was cool to like, you know what I mean? The go like. I'm representing what I'm representing, and meet another brother that's representing, and then like, where I'm from, like if you say you affiliating with a certain type of thing, you got to know your shit, and knowing like I prided myself on all of that. Right. So it's like, as when I got older, I'm like, oh, I was a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the same time, I was just a kid, just trying to find my way as a young man, and the thing was, it was like, exposure is such a big thing. So like having the exposure I had, being in the mailroom, seeing shit, I'm like, wow, like, you know what I mean? That was the thing that kind of leveled it out a bit.
Yeah. I want to take a different perspective to the Roc story, because it's been, milked dry, because love for Roc. I came from the Roc family, you know what I mean, in the music business, and the blueprint to how to build a fucking empire. Like, they've done amazing things. We're all grateful.
Yeah.
What are some of the things, like you coming up fresh in the business, like what are some of the things that you could prepare somebody for, that you were like, man, like I wish somebody would have told me.
I wish I knew
about this shit.
Honestly, nothing.
For real?
Yeah, not that I wouldn't. It's just like, bro, it's hard to, because people don't believe shit stink till they smell it. You could tell a motherfucker, like if you, I'm just generally speaking, bro. Think about life, right? You got the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, whatever other books that we supposed to read that's supposed to instruct us about life. And every day we know that we have these books here that was given to us by people before us that was supposed to be the literal word of God, and we negate that and go live every day.
Yeah.
So it's like
We challenge that at every step.
you challenge it every day, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, as much as I wish I could tell somebody, like I just tell, all I tell people, I wish I would have known. Shit, I wish I would have known. I wish I would have just been more about business. But at the same time, it's hard to be about business when you just a young kid coming from the hood, and everybody you saw on television, there's no social media. So the only way I'm learning about Jay-Z and Ja Rule and Memphis Bleak and fucking Busta Rhymes is that I'm watching them on TV on Rap City and UMTV Raps and Video Music Box, and I'm reading about them. I'm watching them reading,
Yeah.
and then I see them every day.
Yeah.
I ain't know nothing about business. I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to be on a stage. I just want to stand on stage. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to be in the video.
mix.
I
Yeah,
just
you
want to
wanna be
be
in the
like the girls they got. I want that. Like, I want a car one day, but I ain't really on that. Like, I just wanted to be. I wanted to live in a fantasy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think there's two types of people who come in the music business. You got the people that want to live in a fantasy, and you got the people that want to do the business. You know what I mean? Like, now the fantasy is kind of like an infancy. It's like you learn it, you crawl in, and then you learn how to walk, and you fall a few times, and you get up, and you can stand, and you could go. But like, some people stay in infancy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And to touch on what you said, I think, me personally, I think the music industry capitalizes on the fantasy part you're talking
Absolutely.
about.
I
So
mean,
it hides the business. Business is, like, me personally, like, I had friends that would say, like, boys that would say, business is going on all around me, and I have to learn to figure out what's happening in this music game. That's like one of the first steps of you really getting it. You know what I mean?
I used to always say, like, it's nobody's business to teach you business. Like, you know what I mean? Because I just learned it, bro. It's like, it's like people even, they ask me, like, they be like, what school you went? I didn't go to school. You know what I mean? I dropped out of school in the 9th fucking grade. It's the worst decision. I feel like one of the worst. I have a lot of worst decisions, but that was one of the worst decisions I think I made. And but that doesn't mean that you can't grow from a bad decision.
Yeah.
But like, bro, fucking, what books? I didn't read no books about music. The books I read about music was The Source, the Double XL,
for sure.
fucking King magazine, like that. I was just watching interviews, like, you know what I mean? Like any other kid, I didn't really learn nothing. The way I learned was getting hit, like getting in the ring, getting knocked the fuck out until you was like, I'm a duck next time. That's how I learned about music. And everybody don't have that same path, but I feel like in music, man, because nowadays I could tell you everything. You know what a kid gonna do? What the fuck they want to do?
Yeah.
They ain't gonna listen.
I deal with it.
I mean,
I feel like we try our best. You know
man,
what I'm saying?
people think that they the smartest motherfucking. This generation think they the smartest motherfuckers to ever be to grace this planet, bro. It's insane.
Yeah.
Feel
That's
me?
real.
That's
It's
definitely
crazy.
true.
That's real, man. We
A lot of
deal with it.
information at their disposal, so
It's
it confuses
overload. And by the way, it's a lot of short form of that. You know what I mean? Like people on TikTok and YouTube and YouTube University.
You know what you got to do to make somebody believe you nowadays? All you got to do is stare at the camera. If you stare at the camera like this and just say everything that you want to say and put a nice eerie beat behind it, motherfuckers will believe anything you say.
Yeah.
This shit is crazy.
Put a little overlays on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
People have taken the YouTube, learning from YouTube and stuff. They believe anything. Like, you can come up with conspiracies, make it make sense, put a fake documentary, anything together. And nowadays,
Bro,
people will
you could
share
do it.
that.
And motherfuckers
They'll
will be like, yo.
send it. And
You know how I knew it was crazy? When I started hearing rumors about myself. I swear to God, bro. When I started hearing shit about me, that I was like, somebody said I actually did that. Like,
yeah.
It's like, yeah, I got it. Fuck it.
Nah, that is a crazy feeling when somebody tells you something about yourself that you didn't know, and you're like, that ain't never happened, bro. But you're
Not even
fully
somebody that knows
convinced.
some shit that somebody made up.
No, I'm
It's
saying
like,
you didn't know it because it ain't true.
Yeah, like-
so now you sitting there like,
I ain't never been through that before. It's just this crazy AI shit going on, right? So just to test the joint, I type in, I say, yo, I'm about to interview Wayno. Let me get some questions. So I'm gonna hit you with one of them, right?
You serious?
Yes, bro.
And it
yes.
gave questions.
It gave questions.
Are you fucking?
It gave
A
questions.
gang of questions.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask
AI
you one
questions.
I want to know
from the AI.
because the
AI
AI probably making shit up about me. So
All right,
I
so
wanna
hold
know.
on.
That's what
So
we
here
were
it goes.
thinking,
I said, yo, I ain't never heard him talk about this situation, but
Okay.
all right,
But
so
you might have.
so here you go.
Okay.
So Chat GPT said, Can you tell us about your experience working with J. Cole and what you saw in him early on that made you believe he'd become a successful artist?
I ain't never worked with no fucking J. Cole. Bro, yo, what?
Yo, all you niggas thinking this AI shit is
Yo,
gonna be the
listen,
future.
let me tell you
Listen
something,
to what we
brother.
telling you now.
I've met J. Cole 2 times in my life. 2 times. I met him at one time. I was Karen Civil took him to Flight Club, and I went to Flight Club and I introduced myself. I met him there, and I met him again in 2019 at Dreamville brunch. I ain't never fucking had a conversation with this nigga ever a day in my life.
Okay,
what
so
did I see in J. Cole?
Yeah, what'd you see in him early?
I mean, as a fan, like, you know what I mean? As a fan, I seen shit, like, but I don't know this nigga, like, at all. Like, you know what I mean? I know Eve, like, but I don't even know Eve. Like, Eve my guy, but we don't, like, we don't know each other that well, you know what I mean? Like,
That's like me running with an assistant credit I got, because I was around him during his first album, but that's like me taking that and be like, yeah, I seen it early.
Bro, so look, I still was around, like, when Jay started Roc Nation, like, I wasn't around, but I would, like, when Jay was working on Blueprint 3, like, I went to the studio, like, one time, but I wasn't even near. Yeah, Rock the Mic. But I wasn't around, like, you know what I mean? I wasn't around them. Like, that's crazy. Wait, I want to know what else they said. I want to know what else the chat
Hold on, I'm gonna give you
Keep
another
going.
one.
Give me, like, 2 more. I want to know what that shit said.
Here we go. All right, so you work with some of the biggest names in hip-hop, including Nicki Minaj, right? So can you tell us about your approach to developing an artist's sound and brand?
Already.
Yo.
How was it?
It's
This
some
shit
good
is
shit,
crazy, bro.
but it's some good shit in there. But the Nicki part,
They wrong.
Okay, so the only thing ever with Nicki is a whole lot of choppers, Sada Baby.
okay, there you go.
I worked, but I never talked to Nicki. Like Derek was helping her produce records and all of that, and Derek Milano, and he got Nicki on the record for me. But I've never met Nicki Minaj ever in my life.
That's crazy.
I seen her one time with my own eyes. Like, I've never even met this woman.
That's crazy.
That's a fact, bro. That shit is crazy, bro.
Yo. So
Chat GPT gonna be lying on you, bro. This is insane.
I'm gonna give you one more.
Yeah, one more, bro.
It's not. It's,
for the road.
this one's actually decent.
Mm-hmm.
You've been featured in publications such as Billboard and The Source. Can you tell us about the importance of media coverage and publicity for an artist's career?
I mean, that is accurate. I have been featured in The Source and Billboard before.
Okay.
So ChatGPT,
They got 1 out of 3.
He's like,
You know
whatever.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
1 for 3.
we
But
alright.
the importance of media,
Yeah.
it depends, man. I think it depends on, like, what type of artist you are, right? Like, now media is just coverage.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like what media is at today.
Yeah.
And I might sound like the old guy who hating or whatever. I don't even think
let's
that.
be old.
No. Let's keep it
go.
100 though. Like, I don't. So, bro, I swear, when people call me a journalist and say I'm a journalist, I'm really on it because I'm not a journalist at all.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a journalist at all.
Yeah.
The way I do media is I do the same shit I used to stay in the fucking barbershop 2 hours just talking shit.
Yeah.
That's all I do.
That's it.
But the thing about media is it is important, right? Like, I want to read a good story about an artist or hear a good story about an artist that is gonna make me like them more. I remember, like, as a kid, I read about Dog Pound. You know what I mean? I read about Rage. I read about fucking Slim Cutter Calhoun. What's the niggas, man? Crucial Conflict, Bone Thugs and Harmony. I could go on for days. 3-6 Mafia.
Yeah.
Not even to mention what I grew up around, the Run DMC and Fat Joe's and Showbiz and AG, all those guys. But media is how I got in tune with them. Like, you know, watching Rap City and seeing Joe Claire do interviews, seeing Big Les, you know what I mean, do interviews, Fab Five Freddy, DJ Ralph McDaniels, you know, all of these people who conducted real interviews and talked to the artists about what they had going on, why they made this album, why they made these songs, as opposed to, yo, so what's up with you and your girl? Like, what's up with you and your wife? Like, you know what I mean? Who you fucking, like, you know, like, all that dumb shit, like, today, like, who you beefing with? Like, bro, I
setting up shit, faking shit, making up bullshit.
But the thing about today's media is today's media that don't come from the environments that they speak on a daily. So it's like a safari. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I want to go through fucking Africa and see a lion tear a gazelle apart, and I don't give a fuck about the gazelle getting his head torn off. I just want to see some shit happen. You know what I mean? And that's, I feel like, in a nutshell, or like 85-90% of media is that. It's a very, very minute, very, very small group of people who hold an integrity space where they actually want to talk about music or actually want to talk about like what's going on. And the rest of the shit is just want to see the safari.
Yeah.
But you know that end of the day, your ass get to go home from the safari.
Yeah.
That's why going there and maybe you might throw something in the fucking cage and it sparks a fight. It don't bother you.
Yeah.
You feel me? So
I call them hip hop Nazis.
Wow,
when I
that's a hell of a
see
term.
those, I call them hip hop Nazis because that's what they are to me. You know what I mean? That's how I look at them. I'm like, bro, you're a hip hop Nazi.
It's a hell of a term. I
That's
mean,
what you is.
you know.
Yeah, that's
But media,
but it is.
it's still important.
You know what I mean? That's how they doing it though.
Yeah.
But
Important.
I feel like what you just said about reading those articles and looking at other people, I feel like that low key touches on what we're doing here as far as one of your hidden hands, because people might not know that about you and people might not do that for themselves. But did that help you along the way?
As far as what?
With reading and you know,
Hell
all that
yeah,
stuff.
bro.
Like, do you still use that stuff to this day in your career?
We're doing like media stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Like I read, like I'll go, because most times when I interview somebody, I don't want to ask them the same thing somebody else asked them. It's like, you know, I'll give, the first interview I ever did by myself was Gunna. And this is when he dropped, damn, what's the name of that fucking album, man? Gunna Season. Is it Gunna Season? I can't remember what album it is. It's the joint where he does like it's the astrology joint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. I can't remember the name of the album. Forgive me.
With
But
the joint on the cover, I know what you're talking about.
right, but at that time, it was a big topic about like Gunna, the Crime Stopper shit, and everybody that interviewed him when this album dropped was talking to him about that. So what I did was, it's like shit. I mean, at the time I wasn't living in Atlanta, but I know a lot of people in Atlanta. I was calling people, finding shit out. Yo, I found out that Gunna was in Uzi's, him and Nietzsche was in Uzi's Safe House video. You know what I mean? I asked them about that. I called dudes that, like, I found people that was in his neighborhood, you know what I mean? And asked them questions about his neighborhood. Not in a negative connotation of like, oh, when's the first time you seen somebody get shot? Some dumb, stupid shit.
Did you?
Yeah, did you ever? I ain't asked none of that. I just asked him about, like, you know, just, you know, the reputation of his neighborhood and how it inspired him and some of the things that pushed him to be an artist as opposed to, you know, the street shit. You know what I mean? And yeah, I do still, you know, use those things that I grew up on as far as like reading. Like, I think you should fucking read. You know what I mean? I think you should read.
Some people argue it, but
Some people just want to watch YouTube. You know what I mean? Listen.
Yeah.
Man, we got audio, books.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to get information, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But I do want to touch on the second half of the Nicki question, because I think it's real important. I think it's right up your alley about your approach to developing an artist and, you know, their brand.
Yeah.
It's artists you work with that I'm excited about, that we've been, you know, working on, you know, trying to get production.
Yeah,
things
absolutely.
like that. So
I think when it comes to developing an artist, like, it's crazy, but like I ain't gonna say I hate to get close to artists, but it's like almost every artist I work with I get close to. You know what I mean? And because I think that, like, you have the artist, the person. You have the person.
Yeah.
And then you have the artist and the artistry, which is a product of the person, right? And one thing about myself is, like, I'm a product person. So like if I go in a sneaker store, bro, and I know I love sneakers so much.
Yeah.
I used to go in sneaker stores and ask questions that I already knew just to see if, like, they fucking knew.
Yeah.
And when they didn't know, I used to get so
It
upset.
make you feel good.
Yo, bro, but the thing about it is,
And
is
you
like,
knew they didn't know what you was asking.
I didn't know that they didn't know. I would just ask. I'd be like, yo, when such and such is dropping these? And they'd be like, yeah, I don't really know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll come here for the check. And for me, being a person that I love, you know, sneakers and all of that shit and basketball, that's why I got my love for sneakers. It used to bother me. So it's like, to answer your question, is knowing the product. Like, if I'm gonna spend $350,000 on a Ferrari, my mind is already made up. But when I go to spend $350,000 on a Ferrari, I want the salesman to tell me every fucking reason why I should buy it.
Yeah.
Like, I want him to tell me why the leather is the way it is, why the twill is on the leather. Like, so what I try to do is, with my artists, is I learn them as a person. And I learn them as a person and I learn them as an artist. So when I learn them as an artist, when I got to talk to a producer, I can say, yo, listen, what you need for this artist? I'm like, yo, listen, all right, now we know that they could do this already, but I need to challenge them in this aspect. I need to do this with them. I need to do that. When it comes to them as a brand, I got to talk to the person. All right, and what are you into? That's going to make the brand and amplify the brand, because now we outside of the music part. We talking about building this building, which is the artist. So then I got to know, if I'm in a room with an artist, I got to know what fucking jeans you got on, with sneakers you got on, why you wearing your hat a certain way, if you flagging, what flag you represent. I need to know all of that, because if you want to get this paper like I do, I got to know the product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's how I approach it.
Right.
You know, I tell everybody, read this book, 22 Immutable Laws of Branding. You know what I mean? My one of my homeboys, this Korean dude.
Get it from you later.
Not that ass, but
You write that down.
this Korean dude, bro, he gave me this book one day. I used to work with him, and he just gave me this book. It's like, because I was doing a streetwear line, and he was like, yo, you should read this. And I read this shit, and it changed my perspective on how I looked at everything. And then I took a business class in my hood. You know what I mean? And when I took the business class in the hood, it was only $50, but I didn't go through the whole shit, but I learned marketing from that class. So it's like, you got to learn what you selling. It was this song he had called Chrome Heart.
Yeah.
And like, it's just certain shit he was saying, and he was just looking at the camera a certain way. And he was looking at the camera and he was saying shit. I was like, I believe this kid. You know what I mean? I fucking believe him. Like, I could tell it was a song about something he went through, like, you know, something he went through with losing a homie, and they shot the video, like, I think the day of or the day after his man's funeral. And I could just see, like, I could see the pain in everybody's face. It wasn't a happy video, but when I looked at him, I was like, damn, I believe this dude. You know what I mean? And when I sent it to P, and P was like, he hit me back immediately, like, see what he talking about. You know what I mean? And we flew him down. We had some conversations, and we signed him, but it was just his honesty. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, then when he told me his story, it was fucking incredible. Like, I can't wait till everybody gets a chance to really, really, really dig into Baby Money as an artist and who he is, because then they're gonna be like, damn, this is a hell of a story. But it was just his honesty. I could see it, you know, see it on him.
Sure.
How did you get connected with QC? How did that come about?
It's through media.
I
I had met Coach K, but Coach K used to curve me, man. That's my dog now. Yo, Coach K got a strong curve game, bro.
I
like,
love them
but not in a bad way though.
No,
it was
but
so
it's good, though.
what it
It's
was.
good.
It was like, you know, I used to manage Dave East, and when I was managing Dave East, we did the 2016, you know, XXL freshman cover, and Yachty's on that cover, Uzi, Herbo, Savage, Kodak. It's a legendary cover, and I met Coach K that day. You know what I mean? And then because Yachty and Dave was on that cover, we used to get booked for like a lot of the same college shows, because they was like packaging like some double XL freshmen.
Yeah.
So I would see Coach K and shit. And I remember one time I seen Coach K, I was in Syracuse, and my homegirl Nicole, she worked at Interscope. She said to Coach, like, yo, you know Wayno? And he's like, yeah, you know, we met and all that. And she's like, no, she's like, yo, you should talk to Wayno, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got his number, and I would just hit him up with some, hey, Coach, how you doing? No respect, nothing at all. But now that I know Coach method, man, Coach is like he's a Jedi, bro. He's a real Jedi. Like, he got to feel your energy, you know what I mean? And at the time, me just texting him, he couldn't feel my energy.
Right.
But the way I directly got to QC was
Star Wars.
doing some Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars
I was about to
fan,
say,
so-
'cause the way you broke down the energy, that he watched Star
He a
Wars.
Jedi,
Because that's that energy.
You know, Jedis, they only take in people that they fuck
I know,
with. You know what I mean?
and they got that energy. Star Wars is one.
It's
man,
all about energy, the force, bro. You use it for good or
I was
bad.
about to say, Star Wars is so deep.
He know. You
It's
know
so
what I mean?
deep, bro. That's one of the best. Anyways.
But I was doing Everyday Struggle.
Yeah.
And I was doing Everyday Struggle, and I remember like QC was going through something, I think it was OG Mako. And I had commented about it, you know what I mean, because I had just come off from a situation from losing a client. Everybody knew a client I lost. And I was hot, you know what I mean? So like anytime we was talking about some management artist shit, I would say shit.
Yeah.
And you know, I remember Pete posted it. And then I remember OG Mako was pretty upset about it. He told me don't ever come to Atlanta, all types of shit. But you know, P had posted it or whatever, and then like I would just like hit him in the DM and shit, pause, like we would just talk, you know what I mean? And then one day he told me Lil Baby was dropping My Turn. And when My Turn was coming out, P was like, he had hit me, he's like, yo, send me a number. And I sent him my number, he's like, yo, he said, man, I want Baby on that show. He like, I want him on that show with y'all. So you know, like with booking talent with Complex, they got their protocols and all that. I was like, listen, I don't give a fuck who we got this week.
Yeah, let's get
we
him in
need Lil
here.
Baby on the show. So
sure.
we got him on the show, and then you know, later on after we filmed the show, P had told me, he's like, yo, and this is right before the pandemic happens. You know what I mean? He tells me like, yo, come to my hotel. I want to chop it up with you. I go to his hotel later, and he just was, you know, we had an honest conversation. He just told me that, you know, he watched the show every day, and, you know, he thought I was, you know, smart and all of that. And he said, you know, we building out QC. Like, we built QC with like 5 people. You know what I mean? And I couldn't believe that. I'm like, how? You know what I mean? And then he was like, you know, he told me that if in the future it permitted it, and I could do some business with him, that he would love to have me be a part of his team. And at that very moment, he don't know it, but at that very fucking moment, I said, "Oh,
that's your mission.
I'm going to QC." I said, "Yo, bro," I said, "What?"
I said,
"That's it."
Yeah, he left that door crack.
And what I did was I just built a relationship. You know what I mean? I built a relationship. I already had some familiarity with Coach. So I guess, I got a pretty good reputation in the industry. So it's like, I guess, P must have talked to Coach, and Coach remembered me. And it just, the stars align, man. Stars have aligned for me a few times, bro.
Yeah,
like, stars aligned. You
You
feel
need
me?
that. You need that sometimes.
Absolutely.
The stars align, right? So to get to the stars aligning, it's a lot of shit you got to go through, right?
Come on, man.
What I want you to touch on is, your rock bottom moment when you was like, damn, bro.
Oh, I've had a few rock bottom moments, bro.
But the one that's just like,
I've had a few.
You
I got a few,
You
bro.
give us
It's
a
like
few.
everyone.
Come on.
Yo, what's crazy? Every time I have a rock bottom moment, you know who's always there for me?
who?
Jim Jones.
For real.
I don't know.
crazy.
I swear to God, bro.
Shout out Jim, man.
In the beginning
Shout
of
out
my
Jim.
career, in the mid of my career, like every time I have it's been like 3 times I've had one I won't speak about, but it's been like 3 times I've had like crazy. So I feel like it's over, and Jim has been there for me. You know what I mean? Shout out to my brother Jim. But
hard.
I say the first time was when I got fired from Roc-A-Fella. I got fired from Roc-A-Fella. I was 20 years old, going on 21. And I got fired for some shit. It was some bullshit. What happened was, man, it was like, I went to Philly for a week. I went to Howard Homecoming with the Young Gunz. Beans had just got out of jail. I was supposed to bring him some CDs with some beats on them from like Kanye, Just Blade, a bunch of people. And I did. Beans could only record in one place, which was Ryan Press' crib. You know what I mean? Ryan Press wanted Chapel, but he wasn't Ryan Press wanted Chapel then. He was managing Chad West, but the court had allowed him to only record there. So what I did was I went to Philly, I left the CDs there, and then I go to Howard Homecoming, doing dumb running, trying to be down shit with the Young Gunz, whatever. We had a great weekend. And then Dame Dash and Big Face Gary, who's my boss, go and hip hop, they go to Philly to see Beans, a little bit outside of Philly. He lived outside of Philly. And he's like, Beans is like, yo, I ain't never get no beats. And they like, you ain't never get no beats? And they like, yo, we sent Wayno down here with the beats and that. And all I remember is Big Face called me, and I could just, he calls me, and Dame is in the background just yelling all types of shit. And Big Face calls me, he said, yo, you a bum-ass assistant, and hung up the phone. Yo.
Oh, my God.
So I get fired, bro. I get fired.
That was the firing. You a bum
No,
assistant?
that wasn't
okay,
firing. They
say,
let me work
damn.
for like another week and a half without telling me I was getting fired. But I got fired, and at that point it was like this dream I had worked for just depleted. It was over. Like it was like literally over. Like it was to the point where I went up to the office trying to get my contacts on my tour. They told me I had to leave the office. All types. It got bad.
Yeah.
But the reason why I brought up Jim is because Jim was working on his first album On My Way to Church, and Jim wasn't expected to be anything as an artist. But I used to be in the studio with him a lot, and I used to see him work. So Jim, like, when he found out that I got fired, he was like, man, fuck that shit. He's like, you gonna come work with me.
Yeah.
And then he would just get me every day. Like, he'd pick me up or just tell me where he at. And then, like, I was a little, I didn't know it was depression at that time, but I was depressed.
Definitely.
And he would just, like, he would just be reassuring me, like, yo, you gonna be good. Like, don't trip. Like, you gonna be straight. Like,
You don't want to hear that shit in the moment. They be like, I feel you.
I ain't gonna
but-
lie.
I mean,
feel
I
you.
didn't, but I did. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I did because, at this time, like, Diplomats is growing.
Diplomats.
You know what I mean? They're growing. But Jim is like, he's not doing his own thing out of Diplomats, but he's really, really focused on his solo career.
Yeah.
And this is when he made Certified Gangsters, and
Yeah.
I was supposed to work on that album, and I came to the studio a few times, but then I got back around. Like, the Young Gunz had called me and they wanted me to like work with them, and I just went with the Young Gunz because we was all the same age, so I was just more familiar with them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
In my eyes, Jim Jones kept the Diplomats run going. At that
Absolutely.
point. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? Like he had his own run at the tail end of what they were doing.
Yeah, I feel like they all did.
He
They
went
all
crazy. Oh, no, they all went
Yeah,
crazy.
they all special.
They all went crazy, but it's just the timeline, Jewels,
yeah,
Cam Jewels,
yeah.
then and later in,
That's a fact.
then once that bowling,
Oh yeah.
then
I mean,
you know,
but
what I'm saying?
that's old
It
shit,
was over
man.
with.
You know what I mean?
You know
That's-
what I
but it was at that point, and then also, no, I'll say this: when I lost the situation with East.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When me and East split, it was like, that shit was devastating. I ain't
when
gonna lie.
That's when we first met, man.
How was that? Because I know
When-
you
when
said you
East-
managed
when
East,
East
but it
was-
also
When I first got East, huh?
Yeah.
I said how is that? Because you said you managed East, but you also did more in a perspective. You managed, but you also like
Well, the thing was,
came in the door with him too. Like he was.
well, he was all,
He was fresh with
what
you,
I
right?
say is that East, he had already been trying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He had been trying, and like, you know, he was, much love to my brother Bully, man. Bully was you know, moving him around with like Trey Songz, and I had him around Jim, and but like when I met East, and like the way, bro, it was like I got cool with East for a year before I managed him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I've known East for 10 years now. That shit seems like yesterday, but it's 10 years. But like when I came to him and I told everybody, I say, yo, it's this kid I want to manage. I'm like, yo, it's this kid. If I get him, I promise I'm gonna turn this nigga into something. And when I had a conversation with him, the first conversation, he'll never forget this neither. If y'all ever interview him, ask him this. We was in J Mill's brother crib. And cause he used to be chilling with J Mill's brother a lot. And J Mill's brother lived down the block from my mom's. So I went over his crib and I was like, yo, bro, like, yo, I wouldn't really want to work with you, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, do anybody manage you or anything? He like, nah, I just be doing those for myself. I said, you do all this yourself? And he's like, yeah. And I said, I promise I'm gonna make you rich. I looked him dead in his face. I said, I promise I'm gonna make you rich. I didn't even know how the fuck I was gonna make him rich. I just knew that like, if I could get one artist to like just listen to my direction, for all the artists I worked with prior to that didn't, because I was not taken serious as an A&R, but I put myself in a position to not be taken serious because I was playing around a lot.
Yeah.
But I was not taken serious. But when I got East, and so yeah, when we did split, it was tough.
It was a rock bottom moment.
It was tough because, you know, it fucked me up mentally. You know what I mean? I started thinking to myself like, damn, maybe I'm not as good as a manager as I thought I was. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm not what I think I am. You know what I mean? And you know, the mental health is a real thing, and like that aspect of it fucked me up. I didn't leave my crib, bro. I didn't leave my crib for like a month, 2 months. Now I wasn't not washing or nothing like that. You know what I mean? When I mean not leave the crib, I mean like I wasn't going out. I was still going out, but not. I wasn't at no industry shit.
No,
Right.
I've been there. I'm with you. I know
Yeah,
what
I
you
was
mean by not
bummed.
leave the crib. Like
I
you
was
got
talking to my dog every day like this nigga was a person.
Yeah, you
Talking to him every day.
Crazy.
He's just looking at me. I'm like, yeah, that shit was devastating. So basically, like, you know, I had to really, one of my mentors, Set Free, he helped me through that moment because he just was reassuring me that, like, yo, bro, like, you it's you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't forget about you.
Yeah.
And again, bro, like, I didn't know what my next thing was going to be. And stars aligned, and I end up doing fucking media, bro. And this shit was not on my vision board. It was not nothing I planned to do. It was not nothing I dreamed of. And I end up making more money in media than I did doing management.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, shit just, when your mind and your heart is right, bro, shit going get out the way for you. I promise.
Yeah.
And what stands out for me in that story is you said earlier you used to read those articles. You was into media. It seemed like you was reading it. It may have been rap,
right,
but you was reading it, so you was soaking all that up. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And getting it. So you was already headed in that direction. You just didn't know it because. And I feel like a lot of our stories are like that. You know what I mean? To where life has taken us a certain way. We're learning certain stuff. You know what I mean? Having hidden hands help us along the way. But in reality, it's like once you get there, you're like, oh, it's been in me.
The story about Dave and just certain situations that maybe didn't work out. We had a conversation off camera last night. I wish we would have had some B-roll.
The best ones be off of camera though.
Yeah, because it's just natural. Like,
Yeah.
But we talked about that villain story, man. Because we, you know, one of the things that we align on is we're really good at managing relationships, genuine relationships on a long term, keeping your face clean, which is one of the top things in this game that's going to keep you afloat. Whether you go through certain things, there's always going to be that one person that's going to be like, man, he always kept it solid, and be able to put you in certain situations. But does it get to that point where it's like, man, I've been doing so good that I feel like where people feel comfortable stepping on me a certain type of way?
Yeah, I should have fucked everybody over that I worked with. I should have signed everybody to a bad production deal. I should have fucked all y'all over. Nah, I'm just playing. I felt like that before though.
Man.
Because, I don't want to sound wrong by saying this for all the people who have poured into me over my career, but I've never had a me. Never had a me. I've never had a person come get me and say, yo, I'm going to take you.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you this situation.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you paid. And once I get you paid, I'm going to get X amount of dollars off of that while you get paid doing what you do. But I just need you to, I never had that. Like, everything I've done in my career has been based on my relationships. And the thing about it is like, even doing A&R, I got to think a lot. Like, I got to use my brain a fucking lot. You know what I mean? And in the midst of me using my brain for a lot, I still got homies that's in prison. I still got my kids. I still got my family. I still got all of these, and not in no order, you know what I mean? But I'm just, because we all know what the priorities is. I'm just generally speaking. But you still got all these different things. And, man, yeah, I mean, sometimes I look at, you know, people in this game who have taken a different approach.
Yeah.
And have done business a certain way. And for a lot of times when people think they might be fucked up,
Yeah.
a lot of times they might look at it as they protecting themselves.
Right.
Because you get your heart broken a lot in this shit.
Right.
I mean,
Tell me
you
about
get
it.
your heart broken a lot. So, you know, but at the same time, like, everybody also has a different path. You know what I mean? Everybody got a different fingerprint. Everybody got a different trajectory or path that you got to go through in order for you to feel successful in this. Because success is not no bread, it's not no car, it's not no house, it's not no chick, it's not no private jet. That shit is a feeling that you get by accomplishing something that you've always wanted to do. And I felt successful when I was in the projects, to fucking killing bed bugs and roaches and shit. You feel me? So I always knew that once I got the right opportunity, that I would take that shit to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
I just needed, you know, and I've had people, that's why I said I don't want to dim anybody who has been, you know, who have helped me by saying they're not me, but it's not the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, I've had people give me the opportunity and have to show and prove to maintain my opportunity, but man, I done got motherfuckers out the hood, bro. What?
Yeah,
I know.
What?
You done walked them to the opportunity and
What?
helped them get through the opportunity.
What?
Listen.
And
Nah, bro, like,
helped them
it's
navigate. Yeah, I
and
know
it's
what you mean.
and I don't want nobody. This ain't, you know.
Nah, no shots.
Yeah, I mean, because if it's shots, I'll take them. I'm not pussy. You know what I mean? Like, but it's not it's not to discredit nobody neither. I've worked with a lot of talented people, but at the same time, it's like, bro, every player need a coach.
Listen.
Every player need a coach.
The thing that I've learned, maybe to put that in perspective, is the people that's most hated in this game, they the most successful for a reason. Because the stories, you got to keep everything in perspective. Once you get in the game and you start learning the business, you start learning how things work, you start learning, you know, some of the ins and outs and things like that. You appreciate those people's journey and story more.
Oh yeah.
And you put it in context of like, all right, what is it that you hated about it? Maybe you wasn't educated. Maybe you didn't approach that
Hindsight
situation
20/20.
properly. Exactly.
Bro, man. I mean, this music shit is a motherfucker, bro.
Definitely.
I'm just sitting here thinking as you said that shit, I'm like, wow, bro.
You
Like,
feel me? Like,
but at the same time, like, I'm also grateful that I do something that I love doing.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't have the conventional. Sometimes, I ain't gonna lie though, and this might sound crazy, sometimes I miss being broke. Sometimes. Because
It don't sound crazy.
I'm gonna tell you why I miss being broke though. I miss being broke because of the hunger I had, bro. I just had a fucking fire, bro. And I'm not saying that I don't have the same fire, but like, I remember I had at one time, I was at Jalil Beat Studio. I came in his studio just to kick it with him, and we was talking, and he was telling me just different things he had going on, and I got these shits is flying. I'm just flying ideas, and he stopped and was like, yo, how the fuck you come up with all of this? And I'm like, bro, you know how I come up with all this shit? When I go home, I gotta pick my 2-year-old daughter up and hold her in the elevator so she don't step and piss. That's where this come from. My family deserved better, and at the time they didn't have no better.
Yeah.
So like, that's where that fucking fight. When I'm talking about, I don't know who, like, people might be ashamed to say I had bed bugs, bro.
Yeah.
That shit. I lived in a building that was like the projects, but it was just one building. And I'm talking about like when I moved to Harlem. I never lived nowhere really nice. I lived in one place I would kind of consider nice. And I lived in Maryland for a year.
Yeah.
But I lived in like project building, like my kids, they all born into the Bro, when you got some shit that you trying to get away from, my only goal in life was to move out the hood. When I finally did it, I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do now? Like, bro, I was so confused.
That was the goal.
I was happy, but I was confused as shit. I'm like,
Next step.
it's like, yo, bro, yeah, we all grew up playing video games.
Yeah.
You know when it is, you playing this one fucking video game, and it's like, see, the kids of today, these niggas got iClouds and all. Bro, you got 5 continues for 78 hours of gaming. Like, you know how hard it is to beat a game, bro? And then you got a memory card. What? Bro, you know how it is.
You gotta start back at the top.
When you save and you only save, you got 2 men left, bro. And then you finally beat the game. You like,
now what?
now see, it's DLC now. Now you got DLC and all this other cool shit.
Yeah, they go to the next.
Man, listen, yo, I was trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah,
and I'm still trying to figure this shit out. Life ain't just.
See,
I want to live in a $25 million house now. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
listen,
See,
and that's the thing is you could pull from that though, because it's kind of like you still in a struggle because you're not there. You feel me?
everybody struggles. No matter if you're rich or poor, we just got different levels of struggle.
Yeah.
Everybody struggles.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
And like you said about staying hungry, my perspective, like how you want to stay hungry and stay at that. My thing was always sometimes I wish I could go back to being a little dumb. And I'm gonna explain why. Because the more you learn in this shit, you start to learn to protect yourself from certain things that'll happen, and you'll start to learn people's moves. And sometimes you'll think it out.
Because when you know so much.
Versus back in the day, you would have did it a little differently because you would have took the dumber route, but it kind of.
But I don't you know how people say you got played dumb. I don't play dumb.
Oh no, I disagree with that too.
I don't play. Fuck that. Like, you ain't gonna treat me how.
But what if they really believe you dumb? That was my question. That was my question. I was like, yo,
but you know what I do?
Dumb?
You know what I do to keep, yo, man. You know what I do to remind myself? Every now and then I go buy a can of Chef Boyardee beefaroni or some ravioli, or I buy. No, I'm saying serious. Like I do that. And I don't give, like, there's days where I might spend $80 on lunch just for myself, but I will go and I'll buy some fucking ravioli to remind me. Oh yeah, don't forget. You know what I mean? Don't
but you gotta stop eating that shit, man.
No, I don't eat. I don't
eat it often. That shit terrible, man.
It's
that
horrible.
shit, I don't know what's in it, but it's like specks of meat.
It's
Cause
fucking
that shit
disgusting.
tastes good as hell, but it can't be.
It's horrible, bro.
Us.
But the thing of it's not good for us at all. But the thing about it, it's like, all right, you ever watched Inception?
Yeah.
All right, you remember how everybody
Amazing
had a fucking. Remember how everybody had a fucking totem to remind them that this shit was not real?
Yeah.
Ravioli is my fucking totem.
Got you. I'm
my
with
totem,
you.
bro.
I'm with you.
When shit start, I'll be like, let me reel myself back. Crack that fucking can.
Yeah.
Eat some ravioli and know that this shit is not sweet at all.
That's real. That's real.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I got an old 87 truck. Old 87 S10. I drive like a motherfucker, and it's the same vibe.
That's what Tyler Perry do. He still got his Tyler Perry got a Subaru or some shit. He still drive that shit every day. Like,
I gotta call Cap though. Tyler Perry a little too. Like, he might have drove it once every 3 years or look at it.
Put it on the ground.
It's great. But come on, Tyler Perry got a man. They shoot Marvel movies at Tyler Perry's spot. Like,
fucking Black Panther.
He could pay a nigga to drive it for him and tell him how it feels.
Because I'm gonna keep it 100. Like,
tell me how it made you feel.
I got some nice cars. I'm not driving them, like, bro. When I get a rental, like, no bullshit, bro. When I get a rental, like, I just went to Miami, bro. I went to Miami. I was in Miami.
That'll make you feel broke. You go to Miami make me feel broke.
Oh no, that don't make.
It's expensive as fuck.
No, but look, I'm gonna tell you though, cause this is what I'm saying about the driving car part. So I went to where the fuck did I go? It happened 2 times. One time I went to New York, and it's crazy going to New York. Like, you know what I mean? I'm from New York. But I went to New York and I had a rental and they gave me the Hyundai Genesis. And I was like, nah, bro. I was like, nah.
You know who I am?
And the dude was like, no, but the dude was like, he like, damn, what's wrong? He said, what's wrong with the Genesis? I said, nothing, but I don't drive that in my spare time. Like, I got a few cars, bro. Yeah. I got nice cars. So I was like, I said, no, I'm not driving the Genesis, bro. I said, give me that 750. He like, that's $100 a day. I said, I got $100 a day, motherfucker. Like, you know, he don't count my pockets.
I was about to say, no pocket watching, but mind you, the Genesis has reclining back seats.
That's cool.
It ain't
but
bad.
I'm not driving the Genesis. Look, that's
seat
fine.
warmers in the back.
Listen, I'm not knocking nobody, but I don't drive that shit.
Nah, listen, man.
You know
I feel you. I feel you.
When I was in Miami, bro, they gave me the Buick. Yo, they gave me a fucking Volvo. No, they gave me. What's good, bro? They gave me the
cannon.
I get to Miami. I say, yo, They say, yeah, we got this Volvo for you. I said, excuse me, sweetheart. No disrespect. I'm not driving that.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, well, you know, your company already paid. I said, well, listen, I'll pay the difference. I said, give me a BMW. So she said she wanted to give me the 325. I said, no, I can't. I'm not driving the 325. So I said, give me the 5. So she's like, oh, well, I just want to. I don't know if it's gonna go through. I said, I got like, you know, I got some bread, like, you know what I mean. But I don't. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to make nobody feel bad.
On the seat.
Nah,
but I'm not.
You gotta perform at your level.
Bro, I worked really hard to not drive a Volvo.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna drive it as a rental.
Man, my first car was a 1988 Volvo 240 DL. So I feel you.
My shit was a Chrysler Sebring.
We're gonna call my man.
So we ask a question.
I thought y'all wanted me to call my lawyer. I was like, he probably not gonna answer that.
Jay, we got our guy Jason Berger.
You. No, we good. We got you covered.
He cool.
Yeah, we're gonna pay the
My lawyer
bill.
don't do me like that.
We're gonna pay the bill. Yeah.
No? Nah, but
so we're gonna call my man Jason.
Let's do it.
All right, Jason.
Yo.
All right, so we got my guy Jason Berger on the phone, legendary entertainment lawyer. I wanna present something to you, Jason, from we in the legendary Mean Streets, right? My guy Lake Show had a question for all these producers out here. From Producer Culture, they screenshotted a conversation. He's like, yo, honest question for all my producer homies. When did 7 producers on one track era start? This shit's getting out of hand. The feedback he got, so the conversation, TM88 responded. He's like, it's nothing new to address. It's been going on since we was born. But I understand the gripe, what he's talking about. I wanted your perspective because we've dealt with this on our records. I'm sure Travis dealt with it. Wayno definitely has dealt with 20 producers on the record and all that, and some of the nonsense that come with it. What he's touching on, I don't think is necessarily a knock on the creative process, but basically some of the drama that comes with how hard it becomes to clear these records because you got all these people that come out the woodworks and all these different things. So I wanted your perspective on these situations.
Listen, I think too, taking a step back from the legal perspective, collaboration from a creative perspective is amazing.
Yeah.
And I love seeing this, and I think I agree that as long as I've been doing it, I think it's become something that's more frequent to see a number of producers on a record.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what I see is that the bigger records, those numbers go up.
Mm-hmm.
I think too, a lot of times that people are getting compensated by publishing nowadays as well. So you'll see guys that aren't contributing creatively have 3%, 5%. Next thing you know, the credits look crazy with 12 credited writers or producers on the track.
Right.
You know, I think the thing that I see when it becomes a problem is when there's no clear protocol or discussion when guys start working together.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem if that discussion happens for the first time when the artist or the artist lawyer or the label reaches out to clear the music.
Right.
And nobody has an understanding of what everybody's role was and who took what.
Right.
So what I like to do is in terms of number one, if you're working with people, and it's tough because now collaboration over the internet is crazy. You could sit in your bedroom and have 100 people on your roster that you're sending loops and beats to every week, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I think anybody you're working with, a good piece of advice is just to have an understanding, have a discussion,
Right.
and say, hey, if we work on something and this catches, regardless if more people are added or less people or some people are taken off, how do we bust down our piece?
Yeah.
You know, and then the other thing that I recommend is have somebody, whoever's making the play should run point.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't understand that unwritten rule where if the producer, let's say the main producer who has the relationship with the artist, collaborates with a loop guy, and he's got another guy who helped him make the loop, and then somebody else touched up some of the drums, for example. There needs to be a little respect to not just in the process, but also on the terms for that producer who brought the placement in.
Right.
And I feel like the younger producers don't really understand that unspoken rule because, in particular, if they have lawyers who don't know any better, next thing you know, they're chiming in the email string and they want either an even piece or a bigger share sometimes, which is crazy. When, you know, that producer, I don't think contributed even if the creative contributions were equal, I don't think contributed the same because they had nothing to do with getting the record placed, which is what is the opportunity that's making everyone money.
Right.
So I think kind of the key is to have understandings with as much as is feasible and as possible with the people that you're working with and you're collaborating with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think understand also the rules of the game, even unwritten ones, in terms of how that works now.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I've seen that benefit when I have the main producer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a benefit to let me run the play, let me negotiate the higher level terms, you know, in particular, because it's likely that I've cleared records with that artist lawyer before.
Right.
If my guy's the one bringing the beat in, there's a relationship there. We can cut through the chase pretty quickly,
Mm-hmm.
get the best highline terms, and then share the wealth with everybody. But, you know, if everyone's coming in trying to grab scrapes and nobody's kind of respecting the process, that's kind of when it gets hairy, in my opinion.
Right. So the bottom line, one of the main things that they should take away is the main person that's putting this play together has to get everybody on the same page early before it becomes a problem when it's like Drake wants to clear this record, we're dropping it next week or whatever the case, and you got all this shit coming out the woodworks that could ruin the opportunity for everybody involved.
Yeah, and listen, when that happens with teams that I'm involved in,
Mm-hmm.
like with managers that really know what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
or even sometimes the producers that are so well versed they don't need a manager to do it.
Mm-hmm.
When there's an inkling, forget about when the artist's lawyer or the label reaches out.
Mm-hmm.
That's if there's not an understanding, people are going to start scrambling, and it's a little too late.
Right.
But the minute that we hear, hey, so and so recorded this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe there's talk that it's coming out in 2-3 weeks, a month.
Mm-hmm.
I'm immediately calling my guys or the managers that I work with that know what they're doing. They immediately hit the guys. Who's involved?
Mm-hmm.
Was there any discussions? Anybody locked terms in? And I'm having that sorted and buttoned up. So by the time the artist, lawyer, or management or the label reaches out,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to avoid any problems, because if there were any, to the extent it was last minute, we hit that off at the earliest point possible.
Right. And shout out to all the good managers and the producers that listen to their team and you know, do this shit the right way.
The best answer a producer can give in those instances, in my opinion, is I don't handle the business. You got to talk to management or legal.
Bingo.
Because when people start talking amongst themselves and there's text threads that the managers or the lawyers aren't involved in, you know, my hands are tied. Then I got some lawyers saying, hey, I got your guy in writing already agreed on something. And like the guys that I work with, even beyond just being their lawyer, in terms of the producers, they get it because we've been through it.
Right.
And they've seen that process work, and it allows them to keep things creative with the co-producers, with the artists. They don't have to even meddle in that business. Not meddle, but it's their business. But like, let the business guys be great at what the business guys are, and the creative guys be great at what the creatives are.
Right.
And that kind of protocol amongst the team really helps facilitate that process where even if there isn't a pre-existing understanding or protocol with co-producers or loop guys, shit can get sorted real easily, and then we lay it up on a silver platter by the time the neighbor reaches out to clear it.
Exactly. So, and I appreciate, like, you know, I definitely take that angle and the people that I represent of trying to get ahead of it, because there's something to be said about that buffer, you know, like definitely appreciate when you do have somebody on your team that can help you, where you don't necessarily have to make that call yourself or have that meeting yourself with people you work with and talk splits and all that shit. Just keep it creative, keep working, and have the managers and the lawyers, you know, chop it up and get an understanding
100%.
of the business.
And it looks messy when all that is going down on an email string that you got label reps on,
Right.
that you have the artist team on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like because I look at it whenever I'm clearing music or projects from the artist perspective too.
Right.
I kind of take the position, if that starts going down in my thread, like, get y'all shit together, figure this out, and then come back to me, and you know what I mean? We can paper what we need to and get everybody properly credited. But
Right.
I connected with one guy. My client connected with one producer, and now all of a sudden there's 6 people. Y'all handle that business. You come back to us, and we can get our piece done. You know.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, I appreciate like you know, the way that we deal with, like, for example, to the people out there, I'll give my man TmrO his flowers because you know, he's a stand-up guy. You know, we've done business together multiple times. And it's
And there's never no qualms because we already know what it
It's
is.
all understood.
You know?
When your man gets something off with me, this is what it's going to look
Right.
like. And every time it hits, when we find out
Boom.
it's from TmrO, cool, push it. You know what I mean? There's no questions asked. You know what I mean? So, you know,
And listen, that even
that's-
even to a certain extent, it goes against like my instinct as an attorney and the things that I've been told about. You know, if there's an agreement, get that shit in writing.
Yeah.
It doesn't even need to be. Nowadays, you're not going to, you know, in that dynamic, even your example, like we're as long as we've discussed that and agreed to it and everybody's honorable and we have reputations to upkeep in this industry,
Yeah.
nobody's going to go against that.
Right.
So if you want to get it in writing, great. You know what I mean? I got kids to put through tuition, to put through school and tuitions to pay.
Yeah.
I'll gladly take that hour it took me to put that little one sheet together. But
Right.
at the end of the day, just having that understanding, even verbally, is the most important, and it usually avoids 90% of the issues.
There you go. Well, listen, man, Jason, thank you for the time.
Appreciate you, man.
You know, I think
Of course,
this is gonna
it's
really
an honor
be,
always, gentlemen.
I don't
Yeah.
think that there should be 6 to 7 producers on the beat, but just call me old school. You know what I'm saying? If it is that many, y'all a group. But that's just
Listen, that's because
just
you.
what I'm-
That's
that's just how I'm calling it,
Because
though. That's just my opinion.
Because you're one of the rare few that still can play some instruments, and you know what I mean. You don't need to go on the internet and find loops for your shit because you guys are creating things from scratch, or you bring the right people in. You know, and then that's perhaps another topic for another episode.
There it
Is where's the work for hire versus the co-producer line drawn? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that get muddied there where if you understand it going in and you're the architect of the play, you can easily avoid those kinds of issues by most of the time just paying people.
There you go.
You know, but let me know when we can tee that up on the next episode.
we got you. We got you.
My man, JB, appreciate you,
Appreciate you,
Gentlemen.
man. Thanks for the gems,
Till
man.
next time,
Of
man.
course.
Enjoy your
Of course.
enjoy your weekend, man.
Humbled and honored as always. Appreciate
God.
you guys.
All right, bro. I'm curious, like, from when you first got into the game to now, it's a lot of things have changed. Like, you know, what are some of the things that stand out, and like, you know, how have you adapted to those changes?
Talk with the youth, not at the youth.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm 40, and I started when I was 18. I wanted to be taken serious at 19, 20, 21. And there was a lot of people who was either stealing my ideas or didn't take my shit serious. And me being a 40-year-old man, I still know what it is to feel to be a 21-year-old man. You know what I mean? A young lady, I don't know what that's like, but I understand what it is to be a young creative. And, you know, I think that the way that I've always been able to adapt has just been, like, talking with them. You know what I mean? Like, not from a dictator standpoint, like, everybody got to listen. Because it was like that when I was younger. When I was younger, bro, everything is the same.
Yeah.
Your perspective changes as we get older. I've been hearing Stop the Violence since I was in kindergarten. And I just told you I'm 40 years old.
Right.
Feel me? So it's like, I listen back to lyrics I grew up listening. Shit, they was talking crazy.
Yeah.
Same as these kids today talking crazy. You know what I mean? It's just that now they just putting names and blocks. Like, it happened on this block.
It's a little more
But
direct.
dudes was talking about the same shit. And I think, like, the biggest misconception is that we believe that once we get to a certain age, we stop growing up. We're continuously growing up. You know what I mean? The longer you live, another day on this earth is another day for you to grow up and to learn more. And I think that, you know, we got to stop having this ideology that we just know everything and that we can't learn from it because people that's older than us felt like that about us when we was in our early 20s or teenagers and shit. And that's not to say that the youth does everything right, because nobody does everything right. But I just think that the way I've been able to adapt is just by, you know, embracing the youth, man. It's like, for my age, like when some of these kids find out that I listen to their music, they be like, how the fuck you know that? Or, I mean, like, and shit is changing, man. Like, Lil Durk, 30 years old.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, shit about to start getting different. You know what I'm saying? Like, Drake is now becoming like what Jay-Z was when Jay-Z was in his mid to late 30s. People was like, oh, he old, and you know what I mean? And not necessarily saying that that's what they say about Drake, but like, my son is 15, he don't listen to Drake. Like, he listening to Baby, you know what I mean, Polo G, Rod Wave. So like, shit always changes and it shifts, and I think that the way that the only way we can adapt is we gotta pay attention to the youth, man. That's like fucking Whitney Houston said it. I believe the children of the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way, and nobody listened.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, for real. Like, we gotta pay attention to our youth, man. They really teach us more than we know.
Yeah. And they the best. We had my man Reek Walker from APG, and he was like, man, the youth are some of the illest A&Rs ever. If you listen to them or what they got going on, for us in the industry, you know, it's a cheat code.
That's
you
a
know what
fact.
I mean?
But I get it now because I was like that when I was 21,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
All the old, they used to call, bro. I had this memory when I still have it to this day. Like, I could, if another song is playing in another room, if I hear like the drum pattern or something, I could tell you what song. I could tell you what movie's playing in another room if a certain song is playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But my memory when I was younger, I can remember almost every fucking song I ever heard, every single lyric. So they used to ask me like, "Who said this? Who did it? Did somebody use this beat?" Or they asked me, "Who's the next hottest dude? Who's the next hottest chick?" And this when I was in my 20s and when I was a teenager. So it's like, it's only right that I pay it forward. And like, and even at QC, man, we got our staff is mostly women. You know what I mean? But like, all the young women that work there, I call them Wayno's angels, man. Like I really, like, I embrace them. I talk to them. I pour into them. When they want to learn something, I tell them. You know what I mean? When they come to me asking me if they certain directions they should go, I give them direction. Like, we gotta do that with our youth, man. We have to, bro. It's a must, because shit, when we get older, who gonna look after us? Right. They ain't gonna look after us if we shitting on them all day. I tell you that.
Yeah, for
Feel
sure.
me?
For sure.
It's kind of a disconnect with that. A little slight one where the older guys will, you know what I mean, give advice, and then it's like, nah, bro, you wasn't doing this or you wasn't doing that, so I ain't listening. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's the disconnect where that comes in is how you try to embrace. Now, look, I say, being a parent, man, my kids have tried to, like, I get why my mom used to be like, what the fuck you think you slick? Like, you think you slick made sense to me when I became a parent and I got older. Because it's like my kids try to get away with shit, and I'd be like, motherfucker, I did the same. Like, but it's hard when it's closest to you.
Right.
Now, the thing with the youth, like in music and shit, a lot of older dudes be trying to fucking, young kids learn by, they're very, very visual, more now than ever. So a kid will listen to me based on what kind of car I drive, or what watch I got on, or what chain, or how I dress, and or they might take it as he trying to be like us. But a lot of the older dudes be trying to be like the young kids. Like, a lot of the older dudes, they trying to fuck with the younger chicks. They trying to do that. They trying to be in the mix. And no, you gotta just put yourself in a position, like I said, like how Coach K is a Yoda. My man Set Free is a Yoda. Young Guru, a Yoda. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like Lenny S, a Yoda. Like, Lenny. I got Walter Jones. I could go on for days, man. Right. I could go on for days about so many shit. I got to give it up to some of my sisters, man. Like, Shari. You know what I mean? Like, and Shari, we the same age. Shari, we started at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and Shari, we started at the same time. But my homegirl Lisa Brunson, you know what I'm saying? Like. Lon Ray, you know what I mean? Like, I could go on for days, bro, about Gabby, you know what I mean? Gabby Peluso. I could go on for days about how many people, but it comes to a point where you got to stay in your spot, and you can't tell the youth, like, this is what you need to do. You got to tell them, like, yo, you know what you should? You got to trick them into thinking it's they shit. You know what I mean? You got to trick them into thinking.
Have you thought about this?
Yeah, like,
you
got a Jedi mind, bro. You see Star Wars, bro? Remember the nigga said he told the stormtrooper, like, I think I should walk away. He's like, I should walk away. Like,
Yeah,
you gotta,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
You gotta make them, and not in a bad way, bro. But you gotta talk with them, not at them, because everybody telling the youth what they ain't. Everybody,
Right.
you ain't Jay-Z.
You
ain't.
Yeah.
You ain't Lil Wayne. You ain't Dr. Dre as a producer. A young producer now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a big fan of the 12 producers on one thing either. But all these kids, bro. The only difference now between now and back then is people getting credit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
motherfuckers.
Tags on the beat.
Yeah, bro,
Now you
my-
know it's 6 producers on there because you hear 6 tags.
Oh, I hate tags.
In the
Oh,
first,
I hate tags.
In the first 4 bars, you
You had 5 tags. Oh, bro, you did this one? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Nah, bro.
Damn, man, you did this
Damn,
one. You
man,
killing
bro,
them,
you did
Johnny.
this one? Yo,
Yeah, it'd be some crazy ones though. Where I'd be like,
I thought
bro,
Betty
that
X,
was
you know the one that does all the yeet shit?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I thought it was saying Maniacs. That's like
Oh, that's
it-
like Jungle Beats.
Yeah, Jungle Beats. Yeah,
Jalil.
I thought it was Maniacs, but it's like all of these young people every day is hearing about what the fuck they not.
Yeah.
So at the
Yeah.
point when they do become something, you know what they say? Fuck y'all, because
yeah.
all y'all did was
For
tell us
sure.
what we weren't.
Yeah.
Right.
But
But
this worked out for me, so
But
you don't know
forget,
shit.
They don't forget the ones, bro. They do
Yeah.
not forget the ones that tell them, "Hey man, I know you got this shit, but you need to."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They go hold on to that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a lot. It's a lot of media helped me in so many different ways because it's brought in me. I got so many relationships without even knowing. Bro, I met Tusi, and when I met Tusi, he said, "Man, I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time. I didn't even know this motherfucker knew who I was."
Yeah. He's a real student of the game.
He's
too.
a real student of the game, but this is what I'm saying. It's like, you know, because I don't forget what it is to be 21, man. I don't forget to be what it is to 25. I don't forget what it is to be 30, just to go to show y'all how old I am. You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
I don't forget to be, these ages. So I just think that we just got to have a little bit more conversations and transparency. And that's the way you adapt.
That's real.
That's the way you get to the next level is by understanding who you are, but pulling them young ones up with you.
Now, do you feel like the game? Do you feel like the rappers are getting younger? Because Jay was 26, Jeezy was an older rapper. You know what I mean?
Hell no, the game ain't getting younger, bro.
It's the
Fucking
same.
Chris Cross, bro. I was wearing my pants
Yeah.
backwards and shit. Them
Right.
niggas was
Hell yeah.
4 years older than me. I ain't know. You know what I mean? Like, like the game.
But the substance, to me,
no,
the
there's
substance.
no
You had
maturity.
Chief Keef coming,
Right.
who he was 17, but he wasn't the same 17-year-old rapper
As
that
Nas.
Bow Wow or
Nas was.
or you just said.
So
Oh yeah, I forgot about Nas. He was
Nas
young.
wrote Illmatic at 17. It came out when
Yeah.
he was 19. But
Yeah.
but I feel like there's no maturity. I feel like,
Yeah.
bro, I done been around so many entourages. I done seen every type of entourage member you could put. The killer, the talker, the fake tough guy. I done seen every single one of them. And I'm saying this from the perspective of entourage members because when they do some shit that they have to be accountable for, you know what they say? Man, I'm only 25.
Yeah.
When I was 15, you know what a 25-year-old man was to me?
Yeah.
Pause. Like, a 25-year-old man was an aspiration. It was like, I want to be a fucking grown-ass man. But
Yeah.
now, as a 40-year-old man, I call a 25-year-old nigga a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Pac died at 25. Biggie died a year younger.
It-
All my
that-
life I've been broke, motivated, but I'm a hunger.
But the fact about that is, bro, I've outlived Biggie and Pac, and they still feel older than me when I listen.
That's
to their
what I'm
music.
saying. That's what
But
that goes
I think
into.
But the thing about it is that things were more condensed and things weren't so open. Information is helping us, but it's fucking us up tremendously because think about Cruz. Now, imagine if you didn't know me and you brought up that Chat GBT shit. You was like,
I
oh,
would have used it for real.
Wayno worked with Nicki Minaj? Bet.
We'd have been in here talking about how was it with Nikki. Then you would have been thrown off because you would have been like, nigga.
Nah, I'm gonna keep it 100. If y'all ain't tell me that was that, I would have felt disrespected.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, bro,
That's
you
why,
know,
of
I was
course,
like, bro,
I had to.
you work with Cuz, like you know damn well I wasn't around this girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I had to
You
give
feel
you the.
so
Yeah.
so. The thing is that the information, it is helping us, but it's hurting us at the same time. And I feel like it's so much information now that motherfuckers don't do no research. They don't
Right.
do no fact checking. Like if you need, me and my man Rob Markman talk about this a lot. You know what I mean? Because Rob Markman, I don't know what's above A1, but he's above that as a journalist. And he does the work.
Yeah.
He makes his phone calls. He does his due diligence, and he's been doing that for years. And that's my brother. And we was just talking about like how in journalism now, like I was talking about like the 90% of what it is. Like I seen these guys, bro. I think it's the Note Boys or whatever them dudes is.
Yeah.
You get Stephen A. Smith, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen A. Smith, with all the history he has, all the work he's done, First Take, ESPN, writing all. You gonna ask this man, do he like to get his ass ate?
Jesus
No, this is a
Christ.
real question. They really said that.
I didn't watch the interview.
I didn't watch it either. But this is
What
what
they
That
asked
was the
Stephen A.
clickbait
Smith.
vibe.
that's what it is in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, it's like, yo,
He's
bro,
like,
that's what we do. But look, the person that's busting their ass, that's putting in that pain with their pen on as a journalist, and I mean figuratively, because people ain't writing down shit like they used to, but they not getting the recognition that they should in the journalist space. And I feel like that is, it's not even just an artist thing. It's just humans, bro. Like a 30-year-old, look, women, especially black women, is the fastest growing entrepreneurs in America. Look at everything that they complain about, which we all gonna complain about something about one another. But when they talk about what they complain about when it comes to men, it all rolls back to maturity. Usually,
Yeah,
it's about maturity. It's not just about, now it's a lot of silly shit. I don't think I have to pay your fucking bills if I want to take you to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's I know what you mean. All the like
All that dumb shit.
The
But
city
I'm
girl
talking about,
culture
like,
shit. We're not talking about that.
I'm
That's
talking about like
that's
a
rap
real
shit.
woman saying what her gripe is with a man, and it's usually about their maturity level. And I just feel like, and women too, a lot of women ain't as mature as they should be. Just we need the aliens to land and restore order or some shit.
Yeah.
For real, bro. This shit is getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand, bro.
This shit is crazy.
You always gonna be compared to whomever they perceive as the greatest, right? Which I feel like me and Charlamagne and the rest of our chat, we was having this conversation about how like Lil Wayne don't get half the fucking appreciation that he should.
Facts.
But
So many seeds in the game.
but
right
if you comparing like Drake to Wayne, I mean Drake to Jay, at a certain point in time, Jay stopped making certain type of music as he got older.
Yeah.
Like, as he got older, he stopped talking about drugs.
now. Yeah. He started maturing his fan base.
He started maturing his
along
fan
with
base
him.
because the fan base grew with him.
Yeah.
But he started talking about like, it wasn't fucking a bunch of chicks. It was like his wife. You know what I mean? And then it became like a certain space. I think with Drake, and I don't know him, but I think that like for him, just making music at all times is making art, and he gonna make it for as many people as gonna listen. So it's like when they like, oh, he dissing his old girlfriends, he doing this, he doing that, because they looking at his age and saying, well, you should be doing this at this age.
Yeah.
But I think he looks at it from a standpoint of, I'm just making fucking music for y'all to just talk about anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's my take on that.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because when Jay got to a certain point,
He stopped everything. Niggas want my old shit, buy my old album.
we was in
Right.
I was in high school when 30 the New 20 came out. And
Right.
we was riding to that.
Right.
In high school.
Yeah.
Because we had aspiration. Like, it was
Yeah.
like,
Right.
30 was like, oh shit, I'm gonna be 30 one day. I'm gonna have me a house. I'm
Right.
gonna have me
Yeah.
some kids. I'm gonna have me some money.
Yeah.
Like, it was
You
this
gotta
these percentages.
invest.
Yeah.
Then you come to find out, bro, now at 40, I know motherfuckers that's 50 that still act like they 20.
That's
So
what I'm about
it's
to say.
insane.
Yeah,
Like,
50
it's-
can be the new 20 depending on who you talking, where you at.
50 like the new, bro.
What that
it's-
nigga did.
It be motherfuckers damn near 50 years old acting like they 15, bro.
What?
It's crazy.
Talking about chains and shit. No, I'm with you, bro.
It's insane.
Yeah,
insanity.
I'm with you. I definitely agree.
So
man.
if you got some time, man, we want to go through topics.
Let's knock
in
them
the
out.
game,
Let's knock them out.
right?
Let's knock them out.
So the one that's like been a burning topic that I like to ask our guests is about this new AI shit. You're in the journalist space. You're in the media space, in particular. Like that side of it, I know how it's gonna
Yeah.
leave its mark on music, right? We've been seeing it. How do you feel about it from your perspective? Like they could literally create a Wayno video
On the
of
music
you
side
talking
and all
crazy.
that other shit?
The music side. We've touched on the music side. I'm saying from your perspective as
Yeah.
being in the media space.
Oh, how they could just do whatever. Oh, I hate it. No, I hate it. I'm gonna keep it 100, bro. Listen, robots are going to kill us. Listen, they're gonna fucking kill us, bro. They're gonna. If y'all ain't never watched Westworld,
Yeah.
robots is gonna fucking kill us.
That was
It's
a
gonna
good one,
be.
yeah.
It's gonna. Robophobia is gonna be a thing one day. There's gonna be a point in time where motherfuckers gonna get canceled because you don't want your daughter dating a robot, and the robot gonna be like, "I love your daughter. Fuck you." I'm telling you, bro. Like, this is the thing, man. The biggest problem that man has is man wants to play God.
Yeah.
Since the beginning of time, man is trying to find out how to live longer, how to go faster, how to think about just in today, right? Like from everything from ChatGPT to fucking surgeries, like people don't. Most people won't embrace just naturally what happens for them anymore. It's like, I know I need to be I can spend the money to become the best version of myself. So
Right.
we live in this fucking perfectionist era where you don't get a chance to make no mistakes. Why would they make something where it's gonna give you the best question? Oh, it's 1 minute. Fuck.
That's
All right.
so you got a lot off. You got a lot off. You got a lot off, bro.
All right,
You
let's
got
go
a
to the
lot
next
off.
one, man, because I was
So
y'all got me on some shit patch.
so my fault.
All right, let's go.
So listen, so is a situation that an artist, Sexy Red, I thought it was a joke. I'll be perfectly honest. Shout out to the homie Tay Keith, he killing it. Cam, the whole
Yeah, shout out to
dramatized.
Ken, that's my guy.
I literally thought it was a fucking joke,
Oh,
bro.
Booty Hole Brown.
Booty hole
Yes,
round.
that whole vibe.
Push
Like
the
what?
pink,
Like
booty hole
what's
brown.
your from you taking this shit serious and trying to break artists when a record like that break through? Like how does it make you feel?
I don't
man?
have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
Reason why I don't have a problem with it is because I think that, like, remember we was talking about substance? I think that, and not saying that you feel this way, but I feel like people feel like all rap has to be about something. There's
Yeah.
mad songs about nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that why Sexy Red is why it's working,
Yeah.
why FNF worked is because all the women of today, and y'all could take this how y'all want, y'all too dolled up.
Yeah,
Y'all got
yeah.
too much jewels on. Y'all
Yeah.
makeup is perfect. Y'all
Right.
got y'all outfits is perfect. Sexy Red, Glorilla and them. Well, Glorilla when she did FNF, they them girls that you be like, them fucking look at them girls over there wilding on a fucking bar, and it's more of them than it is the ones that's dolled up.
Yeah.
The average girl is not gonna have a $50,000 chain. The average girl is not gonna get flown out and a nigga gonna fuck you for $10,000. It's not gonna happen. So what's gonna happen? Sexy Red's gonna happen. It
Yeah.
happens every day. So I don't have no problem with it. I have no problem. It's hip hop, man.
I feel that way about Glitter Gloss. She's like one of my favorite
Oh yeah.
new female rappers.
Yeah.
But I feel like the image that she has and what she can portray, I feel like she ain't giving it. I feel like she giving what these other bitches, bad bitch, take your man. But I really feel like she a real Mia X
Oh,
type
I
bitch.
mean,
who
no.
really, like,
Listen, you know, I work
got
with,
kids,
I work with Gloss.
holding the kids
That's
while
G-
you
that-
rapping.
I
Like
work
that's
with
the
Gloss.
shit
I'm
I
gonna give
wanna
you a little
talk
extra
about.
because that's QC. So
Yeah.
you get a
Oh
little
shit, my bad.
Plug,
No, I know
plug,
it's QC, but I wasn't even thinking about it. But you right.
Nah, but that's perfect because she listen, she raw, man. I mean, of course, she got money.
Yeah.
So she talking about different perspectives,
Yeah.
and that's the thing that happens. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
she got bread, she got a couple dollars now. She having different experiences. So yeah, you gonna hear some of the shit that she didn't hear from her before, but
But
she
what
still
made
got.
niggas love her, what made like niggas like me
Yeah.
want to know about her standing next to
She still-
Glorilla
she
is
still
because
got
she
it.
had her baby daddy with her with the kids standing in front of the car.
listen, she
You
still-
could tell, oh,
listen,
you a real,
She still. Listen,
you a
she-
real
this
bitch.
Next tape that's coming.
She need to talk
She
about
still
that
got it.
shit.
She
When
still
she start
got
talking
it.
about that shit, these other bitches gonna
No, she
watch.
still got it. She
They gonna
still
be
got
like,
it.
we need to talk about that too.
She still
what's
got it.
up.
How you feel about the TikTok music era, like the TikTok A&R? You're A&R. How you feel about A&R for TikTok, or like how TikTok is like prevalent in the studio and the creation process now?
I never seen
TikTok
it prevalent in the studio. Like I never seen nobody say I gotta say this for like that. Now the thing about TikTok is this shit is a tool, like any other tool.
Yeah.
You use a tool incorrectly, it's gonna hurt you. Use a hammer incorrectly, it's gonna hurt you. Use a chainsaw incorrectly, it's gonna hurt you. That's what TikTok is. So the thing about TikTok is this, right? TikTok is cool. I think it's a dope discovery platform. I think it's it's a fun platform and all of that shit. But success on TikTok does not translate to sales.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You can have something that's lit and people just want to see that 15 seconds. That 15 seconds ain't gonna make somebody listen for 2 minutes. You know what I mean? I remember, and I know I'm trying to get these quick hits off. One of the biggest, what could have been the greatest TikTok record ever would have been, what's my nigga, Trinidad James, All Gold Everything.
Yeah.
Because Pop the Molly I'm Sweating on TikTok would have went insane, and it still might.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, it could.
But I watched Trinidad James' first show in New York, and everybody was just sitting there waiting, like, nigga, when you gonna say Pop the Molly I'm Sweating? We've been here a little bit too long. You know what I mean? But the thing about it is that it's a
facts.
tool, man. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, it works for some, it doesn't work for all.
There you go.
Give me another one. Yeah, give me one
All
last
one
one.
might be a little
Wrap it
difficult.
up.
All right, go
This
ahead.
might
Go
be-
ahead.
We'll be here all night.
Two and two.
I love this shit
Two
with
and
y'all.
two.
We'll
Let's
be
go.
here all
One
night.
last
two.
one. One last one.
My guy.
If you had to pick, now this one might be a little complicated. If you was gonna give somebody some advice through 4 movies for the music industry, you're giving them music industry advice, and you pick 4 movies for them to watch. What would your movies pick?
Casino. Casino. Bruce Almighty.
Okay.
Juice.
Okay.
And Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Damn,
Holy
he
shit.
snapped.
We only got 1 minute, so you ain't gonna be able to get into that one.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you a quick hit on each one of them.
Okay, let's go.
Casino, because you gotta learn it when to stay in your place. Sam Rothstein ain't know that.
Yeah.
Did too
Say
much.
food and beverage.
Who I said after that? I said Juice.
Juice. Bruce
Bruce Almighty. giving man the power to play God.
Okay.
Man is not God.
Got you.
Man can't associate itself with God.
Got
That's
you.
why we praise God.
Yeah.
Juice, watch them people you put around you.
Yep.
And Who Framed Roger Rabbit. All this shit is a fucking cartoon, bro.
Damn. Hey, on that note,
Yo, I ain't gonna
Damn.
lie. That's the one right there.
Damn.
That's the one. Listen,
yeah, he dropped it, man.
Wayno.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man.
y'all.
I wish we
Thank
had
you,
more
bro.
time with you, man. I
It's
didn't.
all good. We'll
I didn't
do a
even.
part 2.
Yeah, we gotta do a part 2 because
Thank you, my brother.
I didn't get into certain stuff, man. Like you and your pop's relationship. I seen
I
that
would
you
love
was
to
a.
do that. I
I
would love
seen
to
that
do that.
you a Capricorn, he was a Virgo.
Yeah.
And I
You
think
seen
that. I think that Capricorns and Virgos have a certain type of connection because all my friends are either Virgos or Capricorns.
You a
As far
Capricorn?
as like, I'm a Virgo and my brother's a Capricorn.
When your birthday?
September 10th.
Okay, yeah, my pops is the 4th. Nah,
shout out to
Virgo
Virgo.
is
Love
my
Virgos.
pops is special. Damn, I wish we'd have got to that.
Go
Damn.
ahead, go
go.
ahead, go ahead. You know
We-
he like the Black Narwhal. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I
you know what I'm saying?
fucking know my father was a Virgo, bro. That's crazy. He fucked me up with that one. All right, so let's get this. Nah, let's.
gonna chop it up.
You gonna end it
I
like
ain't gonna front. We could chop it up, but nah, I would love to talk
Couple
about my
minutes.
father.
do it now,
Yeah,
please,
yeah,
please
yeah,
go,
bro,
man.
please.
Cause my
Yeah.
father is a big, you know what I mean, staple in my life. I feel
Yeah,
like that's what sets
same,
me
same.
apart
Yeah.
in what I do. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
and I heard you speak about it before. So yeah, man, we could just touch on that. That would
Yeah.
be great.
What you want to touch on? When it come to my pops?
Huh?
What you want to
Just
touch
about your relationship and the connection. Cause
Oh,
I
well,
seen that you was the
for
you know
my
what I mean?
father. Man, it's wild. I'm his 6th kid out of 8. We all got different mothers. Me and him was the closest though. The reason why he used to tell me that me and him was the closest because I was the kid that was most like him other than all the other kids. You know, which is no slight to my brothers and sisters, but you know, we had a real close connection. My father used to tell me that he loved me with a passion. You know what I mean? My father used to that motherfucker loved me, bro. I ain't gonna lie, man. And he let me feel it while I was on this earth. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't. I grew up with a lot of people that never met their father or didn't have no relationship with their father. Now, even with that being said, I didn't have the relationship with my father I really wanted. The relationship I wanted with my father was like fucking Carl Winslow or Bill Cosby, or, you know what I mean, Uncle Phil. Like I really wanted my dad. Like I didn't. My mom was a single parent. You know what I mean? For my whole life.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
mine
Yeah,
too.
even when she had my sister, she was a single parent for a bit, for a long time. But my dad, man, I told you earlier that I kind of resented him because, you know, because he didn't warn me about the streets. But I understood why he protected me from the streets because he didn't want that for me. You know, he let me bump my head on my own, and he used to tell me, he used to be like, yo, you'll understand me more when you become a man. And he used to tell me I will understand him more when I became a father, and he was absolutely
You
right.
feel like that? Okay. Yeah.
So the thing was, it was like he used to I used to feel like my father didn't raise me because I didn't grow up in a household with him. But he actually did raise me. He just raised me in his own way. But he didn't know his father. So he didn't have the best example to run off of. You know what I mean? And my father was a street nigga, bro. Like my father was, I'm talking about like really, it was a point in time, like the thing that I loved about my father was I loved him for him, but a lot of people love my father for their perception of him, like his money or how certain people feared him. You know what I mean? I didn't give a fuck.
Did you feel like they
that.
didn't know him like that? Like you know that part of my father. I know.
I just didn't think it was cool.
Gotcha.
Like my father got mad at me one time because I was mad at him because I lied and told him. He asked me how old I was turning, and I was like, I'm turning 13, and he didn't know that I was turning 12. So I was mad because he didn't know how old I was turning. So one day he asked me, he's like, who your role model? And I said Michael Jordan. And when I tell you he was fucking heated,
He laid into you.
yo, he not bad, but he just like he asked the nigga like yo, would you believe my son said that I'm not his role model? Yeah,
It's
he
Michael
said, who he
Jordan?
said role model? He said Michael Jordan. He's like, Michael Jordan. I'm like, nigga, what? Like, it's
Like
Michael
that.
Jordan. Like,
Yeah.
so, but the thing was, is I admired my father for the love he gave me. I admired my father for like the protection he gave me. I didn't admire my father for the nigga he was in the street. Because
Is there
people feared that.
Is there any lessons that you use constantly in the music industry that he taught you, that you learned from him?
Nah, because my father he's a street dude, so he didn't really, he never knew nothing about no music. The things that I learned, that I used from my dad was just like I had a bad, I do still have like somewhat of a temper. Like a lot of people don't know that side of me because I don't like to display it. But I just his love.
Capricorn.
No, that's a fact, bro. A weird
Cats pay attention to everything. They pay attention to authenticity.
Yeah, that's a fact.
If you do something ingenuine, they're gonna be like, bro, that felt ingenuine. It turned me
bro,
off.
I have grudges.
From a baby.
I have
from
grudges
a
from
baby.
kindergarten.
Yeah,
right
it turned
now.
me
That's
off.
what I'm telling you.
Yeah,
my
something.
daughter's a
Yeah.
Capricorn.
But the thing I say that
Well,
I
I
really
love 'em.
held on to,
I love Caps.
the biggest lessons I held on to that my father gave me was like how he treated me and a few of my siblings, like the love he gave me, the love he gave my younger brothers. You know what I mean? Like the love he gave my sister. He didn't have the best relationship with all his children, but you know, like I could see, you know, that in his last days, like I was with him I found out that my dad had cancer, and the day I found out he had cancer, he died 2 weeks after.
Yeah,
and I didn't know, so it happened
about that.
boom, fast. But what I say is like the sincerity he had in his eyes every day till he couldn't talk no more. Just the love, like bro, the love, like love. My dad told me that if you live, then you love, then you've lived life. Like if you love something, if you loved anything, if you loved your kid, your fucking dog, your girlfriend, your mom, if you live with love, it's people that don't have no love in them at all.
Right.
And he just taught me that like to live with love is to have lived life. So I just carry that with everything.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a lesson you probably use in the music industry.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. Because I go where I'm loved, man.
Yeah,
and when I'm not, I stay away from that shit. The key, and when
Got
I
to.
will say this, and we could say this in closing,
Yeah.
the key to success in the music industry is go the fuck home. Go home.
Yeah.
Don't linger around.
Yeah.
Don't do no extra shit. Don't fucking when the party. Don't wait. Don't be in the club till the lights come on.
Oh my
Go
God.
the
home.
fuck home.
Go
If you
home.
especially if you got your kids, you got your girl.
Go
home, bro.
Please
Go
go
home.
home. Please.
Facts. 'Cause when you linger around, that's when the bullshit happens.
Yeah.
Trust.
100%.
Facts.
I've missed a
Okay.
lot of shit going home.
Go home.
A lot of shit.
Definitely.
So,
Well,
I
man, that
appreciate
was
y'all brothers,
that was
man.
definitely
Wayno,
great, man. That was
thank you,
definitely
brother.
great. I mean,
Appreciate you.
you know, we're
love,
going to
man.
do a part 2.
Thank you,
Right.
bro.
Absolutely.
come
Whenever
through,
y'all
man.
need me, I'm here, man.
Definitely.
Let me know.
Get it.
What's going on, y'all? This is Wayno here. Y'all got to make sure y'all tap in with Hitting Hands. You feel me? Got my guy Trav. Got my guy Cruz. It's going to be amazing, man. Make sure y'all stay in tune, for real.